You want to get crystal clear about who you serve and how you should serve them, right? This is a part of success not only as an entrepreneur or a creator, but in life in general. You've been trying to specify a niche, but have been struggling or indecisive, or you could have figured out one, but you hate the niche that you're in. Now, it could be a niche, a niche, however you want to call it. And if you don't know what this word is and you're not familiar with this vernacular, smart guy, please break down what this word means.
A niche is a comfortable or suitable position in life or employment within a specialized segment of the market.
Right. So this is really important for you finding your lane in life. And the bottom line is understanding who you serve shouldn't be this hard. But what if it's because we've been going about this whole thing entirely wrong? If you care about having real impact and real influence in your business, your relationships, or in life, this is actually a very big problem. And if you get it wrong, you may never find your ideal audience, your true tribe that you could truly roll with. Someone who needs you may never find you. Or you may find success in life, but never true fulfillment, which in my opinion isn't a successful life at all. Now, I really struggled with this greatly for a while, and it took me a while to get the clarity that I now have. But I've been struggling on how to articulate the process I went through to get me so clear until now. Well, one of those things was just time. Guys, look, these type of things take time. But someone came along that explained this topic really, really well. In comes Kirk Nugent. In comes Kirk Nugent to save the day. And he is the guest on today's show, guys. Kirk, he's the owner of Composition LLC. He's a phenomenal entrepreneur, content creator, speaker, and he's a live video expert. I'm trying to get my live video game up, y'all, and he's been helping me out. Y'all need to check out his YouTube channel. It'll be linked in the show notes. Check out my guy. But he articulates this process of niching down in a way that I've been trying to say for a while now, but he unveils it he just says it so much better than I was trying to say it. He unveils the secret cheat code and 2 other processes that will get you super clear on who you serve and how you're supposed to serve them. And we'll get to those, you know how it goes, right after the intro music. You're listening to the Build Your Vision podcast, a podcast series about maneuvering the ups and downs of building a life that you're proud of, captured in real time. A community where dreamers become doers and doers become world changers. Let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up? I am Clee, the visionary, and this is the Build Your Vision show, the #1 show in the world for young visionaries who are serious about building a life they are proud of. And I'm here to give you the tools that you need. Guys, this is part 3 of You Inc. What if you treated your life like a business? If this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. Hey, I advise you go back to episode 109 where we open up this series of You Inc. That's part 1. And the episodes aren't very long. It doesn't take very long to get caught up. So I advise you go back so you know and understand where we are now, because there's some critical foundational things that are in those episodes that you'll need to carry out the rest of these parts.
One of the things that I struggled with both as a public speaker and as a content creator was niching down. This is one of the terms that everybody knows, everybody's familiar with. Like, how do you niche down? How do you find that space that is very specific and unique? I was like, no, I want to do tech. I want to do media. I want to do leadership. In fact, that's actually what's on my shirt. And I was like, I don't want to niche down. I don't need to. Mm-hmm. So I thought. And one of the things that I recognized is that the layers of the things that I was interested in was the niche. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I will often say to coaching clients whenever we're trying to understand, like, what is your thing? What's the question that you answer? What is your topic in your area of expertise? First of all, it's got to come from your lived experience. Yeah. But second, it's got to be the layering. So I am, as I like to say, self-confessed Jesus geek. I am a Christian. I am a geek. I love media, and I've been in leadership for years. So now when you layer them all together, you have a smaller niche. Mm-hmm. So if I was just to do tech, I'd be, one voice in a million.
Small fish in a big pond.
But you do tech and media,
yeah,
it starts to get smaller. Then when you do tech, media, and leadership, it even gets smaller. So the layering of it is actually the cheat code.
Wow. So layering, not narrowing, is the cheat code. So instead of getting narrower and narrower, we need to get deeper and deeper. We're unlocking something here, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's the cheat code. But how do you unlock it? Here's the first step: your experiences. And Kirk talks about it.
If you're looking for your thing, you haven't done the legwork of mining the gold of your story, because that's a whole other plot process that you want to go through. What is my unique thing, my unique niche? This is something I learned in public speaking, Cleavon, that it's you have to have the guy who has no legs and no arms. He's always booked, because his story is so. I mean, you just look at him and like, okay, if this guy gets out of bed in the morning, why am I not motivated, right? So he's always booked. He's always speaking. So what do you have that makes you unique? Mm-hmm. What in your story that nobody can take away from you? So I like to walk through that process. You know, I say to mentees, I should say, especially in college, that high school is a time to blend in. College is a time to understand what makes you different.
Yeah.
Because what makes you different, what makes you stand out, is what's going to get you paid.
Yes.
That's what's going to get you paid.
Yep.
What makes you different? I don't want to blend in college. I want to understand. Okay, so I am a third culture kid, meaning my parents are Jamaican. They migrated to the United States, and then I lived in this land as an American, African American, but not quite. Makes sense. Yeah. It's a very specific lane. Then I am, my dad is a pastor, my brother's a pastor. I'm not a pastor, but then I'm kind of am a pastor. I'm on the geek side of things. I'm a techie. I really play up all of the things that make me uniquely me. Yep. And that becomes your brand. How it all works was born out of the desire to really capture this layering of skill sets and passions that I have, that I feel God has instilled in me. And then the skill sets that came along the way really kind of came from this journey, as I always like to say, from my lived experience, right? People can argue all kinds of other things, but you cannot argue someone's lived experience.
Nope, exactly.
So that's why I bank, and I guess the term is hinge, all of what I do on those pieces.
So a great way to do this is through the Find Your Why exercise. If you want to learn more about what that is, the link to the episode where I talk all about Find Your Why is in the show notes below. I also have a free mini course that shows you exactly how to do it. You could check it out. That will also be linked in the description/show notes. But the whole point here is that you need to play up, not play down, what makes you uniquely you. Often when we try to get narrower and narrower, we're cutting off pieces of ourselves each time we try to get more narrow on who we're trying to target. And that is important to an extent. You don't want to be talking to the whole world, but you actually get more enjoyment and more sustainability instead of trying to get narrow and narrow and just chopping off pieces of yourself by adding pieces of yourself, layering, so you go deeper and deeper. Here's the second process for unlocking that cheat code of layering: content buckets.
Somebody's probably saying to themselves right now, they're listening to the podcast, just like, yeah, that sounds all well and good, but how did I translate that for myself? And I'll just share this with you, that you translate that by narrowing down your multi-passionate self, right? All the different things that you have, try to put them into 3 different buckets, very broad, high level buckets. That bucket should be able to be defined in 2 words, if not 1. Tech, media, leadership, 3 buckets. Once you distill them down to 3 buckets, now you start creating content in all 3 lanes. And once you start creating content in all 3 lanes, you need to be open and sensitive to the doors that are opening. When the doors open, like for me, it opened with live streaming. Then I put all my tech and all my leadership behind the media, and I went after live streaming. So now I'm still multi-passionate.
Yeah.
Right. But I've branded myself as a live video coach, a live video strategist, but there's leadership in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tech in there. There's a huge amount of media in there. So I wanted to give people something practical. These are from a very basic high level standpoint. Now, the last thing I'll say to you is you probably need a coach in the community, but that's a shameless plug.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be me. You could be somebody else, but those are critical pieces that are going to help you along the way.
All right, guys. So that's the cheat code, layering. And the two processes that unlock that cheat code, mining your story and experiences and content buckets. So this is what I want you to do after listening to this episode. About that practical life. How are we going to implement? How are we going to execute? Go mine your story. Your ideal audience probably has a similar one. And like I said, doing that Find Your Why exercise will really help you with this. And if you've already done it, look through that and see where you can capitalize and layer pieces of your unique design onto your niche. Second thing, turn those passions and experiences into content buckets and then be open to the market. Like Kirk was saying, the market will tell you what it needs from you, not the other way around. And once you've listened to the market, you layer those content buckets so that you go deep with who you serve, not just narrow. With this cheat code, you'll have an unending archive of content you are actually passionate about that you could talk about days on end. You will avoid burnout and you will form much deeper relationships and loyalty with those you serve, whether that is your customers, clients, family members, friendships, whatever it is, your church, your volunteer organizations. Look, y'all, this really does apply to everything. And for goodness sake, please stop worrying about what others are doing. Can you imagine John the Baptist getting upset because Jesus copied his niche message?
Wow, this is Jesus' first sermon. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Oh, he's about to begin.
Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is near.
What? That's what I say. How could he steal my message? I baptized him. We're cousins. We're family, for goodness sake. I knew I should have got that line trademarked. Now who's going to show up to my church?
No, of course not. John didn't think any of those things, and neither did Jesus. Just because they had the same message doesn't mean they had the same layering. Stop worrying about what others are doing and work on your unique assignment because you were uniquely designed for it. Because of the layers you have on your life, you cannot be plagiarized. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed part 3 of You Inc. What if you ran your life like a business? Y'all, we're getting through it. I'm so excited to get into the next episode. It is a banger. Oh, man. All right, I'll talk to y'all next week. You know how it goes. Keep building your vision every single day. Peace.
Executive production by Cleavon Davis. Music production by Cleavon Davis and Christian Hernandez. Build Your Vision Podcast is a product of Build Your Vision, LLC. Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.